Hello and welcome to my final video where I'm going to be showing you how to add colour and texture the creations that you have made over the week. I'm going to show you how to make a wall, how to make bark from a tree, how to do water, and finally how to do a kind of scarred earthy effect. All of these are really simple, really quick and easy to do. I am certain that almost every single one of you can at least do at least one thing that I'm about to show you. They do get a little bit messy, so you might want to put something down on the table and change clothes, get into something a bit older, but I guarantee you they are so much fun. So let's get started. Take the tape and we're just going to layer it up. 5 or 6 layers is probably best. It depends how thick you want your bricks. After you've layered it up, you then just need to cut it into brick shapes. I quite like to draw out all the different lines so I know each brick is the exact same size, but you can also just eyeball it. It's completely up to you. And all we're going to do is peel the tape back off and we're just going to stick it onto our piece of paper. Can you see that? Yeah. So we get that. And then it's completely up to you if you want to paint it or colour it. I'm going to use acrylic paints, but if you don't have acrylic paints, you can use anything, poster paints, emulsion paint, whatever you have, or you can simply just use coloured pencils, crayons. I'm going to start by painting it a grey kind of colour. And then I'm going to grab, I don't have a paint palette, so I'm just using a lid from an old takeaway. And I'm gonna put my paint onto there. And instead of using a paintbrush, I'm just gonna grab just a kitchen sponge and I'm just gonna dab that in the paint. Try and get it as even as possible. And then we're just going to gently press it along the bricks. And it's going to just hit the masking tape where it's raised up. If you want more texture, you can add different paints, different colours. Just keep building and building until you're completely happy with it. And there you go, there's our brick wall. So I'm going to show you how to use the water technique. I also think that this would work really well if you did it in colour as a stained glass window, but for now I've only got some blue paint, so that's what we're going to use. If you do it in different colours, please send me the photo because I'd love to see how it turns out. Printing paper won't work as well because we're going to use a lot of water for this and it will wrinkle, but it is also doable. You just won't get as good as of a result. So I'm going to be using acrylic paint. Again, you can use any other kind of paint. You can use watercolour, you can use poster paint, you can use emulsion. And I've just put a blob onto my make do paint palette of a takeaway tub. And then just going to get an old paintbrush. You can use anything, you could even use an old spoon if you want to. And I'm just going to dip it in water and I'm going to just absolutely soak it through. You don't need to mix it that well, but just soak it so it's very watery. And then you're just going to get it and paste it all over. Make sure you get every single corner and just absolutely drown it in water. All we're going to do next is we're going to get a bit of cling film, rip off a section, make sure that the section is bigger than the paper. Not doing a very good job of that, but that will do. And then all we're gonna do is lay it on top, and you want to make it as wrinkly as possible because this is what's gonna make all the different lines. You don't wanna leave it to dry. It will take a very long time to dry. I left it all night. Once it is dry, you're gonna peel it off, but don't peel it off until you're certain it's dried, otherwise it just won't work. You need to make sure it's bone dry. And then when you peel it off, you will have this effect. Next, I'm going to show you how to make this kind of scarred mud effect. I am really into this. I love this. I've used it for multiple models that I have done. And what I'm going to be using for this, actually, to kind of prove to you that all things is possible, instead of using paint, I'm going to use coffee as my paint. It's just the perfect colour, and I love the way it spreads and dries across the page. You might think I'm a bit mad, but trust me, try it, it works. I'm going to start by taking Yoo-Hoo glue. Now you can use any other type of glue. You can use a glue gun, you can use PVA, you can use a glue stick. I just prefer to use Yoo-Hoo just because of the texture that it creates. All I'm going to do is literally just squeeze it and spread it across the page I have any style. I don't want to make a pattern, I just want to random lines going across it so it looks just like marks. If you're happy with how that looks, you need to leave the glue to dry. We're then going to wet the paper with just some water. I'm using an old paintbrush, and if you are going to use a paintbrush, do make sure it's an old one because your paintbrush won't survive after this. And I'm just going to put water across the paper, and I'm going to pick up my coffee, and I'm going to just put my coffee onto the paper. It's going to separate where the glue is, so that's what's going to give you your marks. And again, just absolutely drowned the coffee in water. And I really like how you get these big lumps. When it is dry, you will end up with something like this. Final one is the bark texture. I've left this till last because it is the messiest and it's also the funnest. What I need is a little bit of filler, so I've just got some powdered filler here, and what I'm going to use this for is to make my paint even thicker. So what I'm going to do is dollop quite a bit of acrylic in there, along with quite a bit of filler, and I am going to mix it. Again, you can mix this with anything, a stick, a paintbrush, a spoon. Just be aware if you are using a paintbrush, make sure it's an old one because it will ruin it. Get it in big chunks, get it all over that roller. Just keep rollering. Keep going, mix even more paint. Can you kind of see it? Can you see the texture of it? So you're just gonna keep going, you mix even more paint and just keep layering it and layering it and layering it. It will take a while to dry, but again, once it is dry and layered up, I've given this quite a few layers, so once it's all layered up, this is what you're going to be left with. Okay, so that's everything. Well done to everyone, and thank you for sticking with me this week. Like always, I'd love to see all the creations that you guys have made. I have social media, I have Facebook and Instagram. I also have my email. If you want to email me any photos, I'd love to see them. And that's it from me, so stay safe guys, and have a good rest of the year. Bye!